So, how do you take a powerhouse system like SAP S/4HANA and really make it your own without accidentally trapping yourself down the road? In a world that demands we stay agile, getting this wrong can be, well, paralyzing. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the art of SAP extensibility. We're going to show you exactly how to customize your system without creating total chaos. Let's get into it.
Okay, I want to kick things off with a question that might just hit a little too close to home for some of you. Have you ever actually dreaded an upcoming software update? You know that feeling, right? That pit in your stomach when you know a mandatory patch could potentially break years of custom work you've built. If you're nodding along right now, you know exactly what this is all about.
Well, that fear, it actually has a name. It's called the customization trap. And it's that moment, that really critical point where the code that was supposed to help your business is now holding it hostage. It makes your whole system rigid and fragile. It makes it pretty much impossible to upgrade. And what that really means is you're locked out from all the latest innovations and, this is the really scary part, from essential security patches.
Right, so let's talk about this customization trap. Let's really break down the high cost of doing things the old school way and why, especially in today's cloud-first world, it's just not going to fly anymore.
Here's the fundamental conflict, right? Modern cloud software, it's not a one-and-done deal. It's constantly being improved, patched, and upgraded, usually on a fixed schedule, to keep you competitive and secure. But those classic, deep-down customizations, they act like a giant anchor, just holding you back from getting these vital updates. Your custom code essentially breaks with every new release, and you get stuck in this awful cycle of endless, really expensive repair work.
But what if you could have both? What if you could get all the custom features you need and have seamless automatic updates? Well, that is exactly what SAP's Clean Core strategy is all about. It's a really elegant solution to what can be a very, very messy problem.
The heart of this whole thing, the entire strategy, it really just boils down to one incredibly powerful word: decoupled. It means the life of your custom extensions is totally separate from the core system. So when SAP pushes out an update, your core gets upgraded cleanly, safely, and it doesn't mess with your custom work at all. It's a brilliant way to, have your cake and eat it too.
So how do they actually pull off this decoupling? Well, there are two main ways to do it. First up, we've got on-stack extensibility. The best way to think about this is building on top of the core system. But, and this is key, you're only using pre-approved, stable tools that are guaranteed not to break during an update. Then you've got side-by-side extensibility. This is where you build totally separate apps that live next to the core on the SAP Business Technology Platform, or BTP. They just talk to the core from a safe distance.
Okay, so understanding the how is one thing, but it's just as important to understand the who, because the Clean Core strategy gets that different people have different skills and needs. So let's meet the two key players in this new world, the key user and the developer.
And this lays it out perfectly. Over on the left, we've got the key user. This could be a business expert, maybe a consultant. Their goal is to get simple tasks done quickly and easily. So their tools are all low code or no code. It's all about speed and usability for them. Then on the right, you have the developer. This is your professional coder. Their goal is to build really complex, powerful business logic. And to do that, they need a rich, modern development environment that gives them all the power and flexibility they need. Two different roles, two perfectly tailored tool sets.
Okay, so we've got our two approaches and our two types of users. But in the real world, how do you decide which way to go for a specific task? Let's walk through a super practical guide for making that choice. Let's take a super common request. I need to add a new field to an app. The guidance here could not be clearer. You always start with the key user path. Using a simple web tool like the Custom Fields Fiori app, that's SAP's modern user interface, is hands down the fastest and safest way to do it. You only bring in the developer who'd use the more complex ABAP development tools if the job is just too complicated for the simple tool to handle. So what about something bigger, like creating a whole new business object from scratch? Well, guess what? The exact same logic applies. The key user can use the Custom Business Objects app for pretty simple, self-contained things. But if that object needs complex logic, or it has to connect with a bunch of other systems, well, that's a job for a developer. They'll use their powerful tools to build a proper enterprise-grade solution. The rule is always start simple and only get complex when you absolutely have to.
Now, this isn't about setting up a battle between key users and developers. In fact, the real magic happens when they work together. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most clever concept of all, the power of layering. I want you to think of it like a layer cake. How cool is this? At the very bottom, you've got the foundation, and that's built by the developer. They create these powerful, rock-solid, reusable objects, and then they officially release them. That's layer one. The second layer is the customization. That's done by the key user. They can now safely grab those developer-built objects and use them in their own simple extensions. And here's the golden rule that makes the whole cake stay upright. Key users can use developer objects, but developers cannot use key user objects. It's a one-way street, and that's what guarantees the foundation stays totally stable and predictable.
So, as we wrap this up, let's just nail down the 3 key takeaways. If you remember anything, remember this. First, protect the core, no exceptions. Every single extension has to be decoupled. Second, know your user, match the task to the right person and the right tool. And third, always start simple. The key user path should be your go-to, and you only escalate to developer tools when you really need to. And that really just leaves us with one last question for you to think about. When you look at your own systems, your own processes, is your business genuinely built to adapt and to evolve? Or is it, maybe quietly, getting trapped by its own code? The choice, and now the strategy, is all yours.